Welcome to another episode of Limpopo Podcast. You already know your boy, Omee Otis, the walking dictionary. And today, woo, baby, you don't understand. Uh, I don't have words actually. Um, to me, it's so special because I'm sitting with somebody who's like a driver of this bus of young people in the country. And I've been looking forward to sitting with them for such a long time. You know, from seeing somebody on the screen and sharing a table with them. It's a moment that I'll never forget. Before I get emotional, ladies and gentlemen, we have the potential president of South Africa, Soweto's finest, the game changer, the leader of young people, and he's a soldier. Welcome.
Commander's morning, Nhlanhla Lux. Shout out to the show, shout out to Limpopo, shout out to South Africa, and shout out to Douglas. Before the show starts, I want you to understand that the leader of students in South Africa, Douglas Ngobeni, it was his birthday yesterday.
Okay.
So happy belated birthday to Douglas. If you don't know Douglas, you don't know the future of the country.
Okay.
So it's your problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as a matter of fact, shout out to Douglas again because he made it possible for me to be on the show.
Yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't have known about the show, and this moment wouldn't have been possible without Douglas.
Douglas, if you're watching, thank you so much, my brother. It wouldn't have been possible, as you said. Lux.
And excuse to disturb.
Okay.
And I know they will find out. I had a big meeting today with provincial police for something very big that's going to be happening.
You are forever on big things.
Yes, and me coming here and postponing them was literally... No, but I want you to understand this. Because of Douglas as a young person, is from the future.
Oh.
It's important to honor the future than be with the past. You don't look at the rearview mirror and look at those people I was going to meet. They're all old.
Forward.
So I'd rather listen to young people what they want, and we must move how the young people want us to move.
Man, you are so inspiring. Like,
appreciate you, man.
I don't even know what to say to you, and I think meeting you it's going to change a lot of things for the viewers, the young people of Limpopo. I think they're gonna be watching. Many of them are gonna be watching the show, and for me, it's such an honor for you to even take the invitation. You could have easily said, "Nah, you know, I'm not from Limpopo. I'm not gonna do it," but you actually decided to honor the invitation.
Let's do this. Let's put a small challenge for the show and the people of Limpopo.
Sure.
It's always we're always made to believe that things that happen in Gauteng are things that actually happen in the country, and everyone else must follow.
Yeah.
So maybe let's remind South Africa that Limpopo has real life. Ne? So this is what we're going to do. If we don't get 1,000 more subscribers, don't drop this show.
Okay.
Don't drop the show. Cancel it.
All right.
And I'll make sure that on this show, I'm going to speak so much and drop so much bombs that it'll be worth it. So don't drop this show until you check your numbers, because numbers are important.
Okay.
If we get 1,000 subscribers, drop the show.
We are on 19. I think by the time we get to 20...
If you get 20K, drop the show.
It's a word celebration, because I think after you,
problem.
my cousin's coming. So it's
best of the best.
It's going to be...
And when she gets it, tell her I love her.
Yeah?
Tell her I love her.
She's gonna watch it.
Yeah,
I think she's gonna have a look.
Sure.
Man, you're somebody who's well known for many reasons, but you know, you got those people who are still confused. Like, what does Nhlanhla Lux do? We always see this guy in the media, but we don't really know what he does for a living.
Yeah.
So What have you got to say to that? To those people who do not actually have a clue of what you do in real life?
Look, I can tell you what I do for a living, which is something I'm going to do because it's not a problem. But let's address that need to know what Nhlanhla Lux does. Society has a problem. People like Nhlanhla Lux and like the young leaders that I spoke about, like example Douglas again.
Yeah.
People are obsessed with wanting to know and holding us accountable for our personal lives. But the people who are actually in positions of power and get paid to take the country forward, no one has the edge to want to hold them accountable.
Yeah.
But as soon as there's a young voice that is competing and even winning day in, day out against these people who are actually getting paid to do the right thing.
Yeah.
So for me, it's disturbing, but I understand personally. I understand because we're a gullible country that produces citizens that come from the worst of education systems that the world can ever present. So I'm not worried about how our people are gullible, but it's something worth addressing.
Yeah.
But in terms of what I do for a living, when everyone was having fun and having too much sex during university and drinking too much, I was focused on business. I mean, when I was 21, I was designing a golf course and I actually built a golf course and I owned my own golf course.
Yeah. In Soweto?
In Amarantia. In Amarantia. Soweto, I owned a driving range in Soweto.
Oh.
And then the golf course in Soweto is a public golf course, which I led for many years, which I took care for many years.
Yeah, so you're talking about you helped build it.
Even the from what it is now, it's a tour-ready golf course, meaning it's at the highest level that it can possibly be at. And all that investment, I was part of the conversation that and the team that brought in that investment to make sure that a township has a golf course that can host a Tiger Woods, anything else at the highest level.
It happened that I think it was the beginning of this year. I was going through the channel, the statistics, checking like where are we getting most of our views from, and it happened that Soweto is like number 4.
Yeah,
and these people are watching limpopo.podcast.
Sure,
they are not watching Soweto this and that. It's limpopo.podcast. Look. So for the young people back home, who have only heard about Soweto when it's Soweto Derby, when it's
June 16,
1976, as the ambassador of Soweto, you know all the corners, you know everything about Soweto. I would like you to walk us, just give us a template or a map of Soweto, like how is Soweto like?
Yeah. So look, I want you to understand something. If you are born in Soweto, you speak all languages in the country. Simple.
Yeah.
As much as the apartheid system tried to divide Soweto into Sotho section, Zulu section, even when you go anywhere in Soweto, it's always divided.
Okay.
But our people managed to come together, and Soweto as well, if you look at the history, Soweto was formed part of the reaction to the gold rush. It's where the workers were moved to by the Land Areas Act of 1958/1959. So you then saw a natural gravitation of people moving from different provinces coming to Soweto for the gold rush. So Soweto is no one can claim, or no ethnic group or anyone for that matter can claim Soweto. We started Soweto.
Yeah.
So Soweto is the home of South Africa. So that's why you will find that your podcast is listened to in Soweto, because as a president of Soweto, if I must simplify or maybe break down, what is a Sowetan? A Sowetan is a Venda speaking person. A Sowetan is a Pedi speaking person. A Sowetan is a Tsonga speaking person. Yeah. Already I've covered the entire Limpopo. Do you see what I mean?
For sure, yeah.
So the interest will always be there as to people in Soweto will want to know about the affairs of Limpopo, because those affairs directly affect their grannies or even just their ancestors.
Yeah.
Everyone that is in Soweto who is South African has a grave of their ancestors outside Soweto. The first graves in Soweto are very young.
Yeah.
They are not as old as people think. So some of us come from as far as, or maybe even as close as, because now the world is smaller through the internet.
Yeah.
Some of us come as close as Limpopo, all provinces. So there is no one province that is not represented in Soweto. So Soweto, if you look at it, is a simplified version of what the country is. So that's why when things happen in Soweto, they get taken serious and they blow out
Yeah.
and they blow up bigger.
Yeah.
Because if you've managed to bridge the cultural barriers, the language barrier,
Yeah.
and the product you are dropping in Soweto somewhat finds itself in every household, you must then know that it's automatic that it will find itself in every household in the country.
Yeah.
Because then everyone else will resonate with what you are saying. Soweto is a difficult, if we're speaking business, it's a difficult market to penetrate because of its diversity.
Yeah.
It's too diverse. When you think 1 million people understand what you're saying, we have 1 million more who might misunderstand you. So when you speak in Soweto trains you, it sharpens you to be one of the best public speakers of all time. Because when you speak and holding this mic, you are speaking to a minimum of 15 people with 15 different backgrounds in serious numbers. So can come out easy if you're not sure with your words.
Yeah.
So a place like Soweto is special in that regard.
Yeah.
And once you can emerge as a leader outside, coming from Soweto, it's easy for you to go anywhere in the country. I'm sure you've seen when I get to like a Free State province,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter where.
Sure.
I know what to do because then it becomes easier for me. Why? Because I'm talking to a more focused group of people who speak less languages. So it's easy to articulate what you want to do because
Yeah.
Soweto has trained you that, hey, you must know your story when you're speaking to people. And that's why, again, history also suggests in this country that you've got people who had to go to Soweto and fraudulently fake addresses to act as if they're from Soweto so that they can assume some leadership positions. There's only a few who stood their ground and always said, I'm proudly from Western Cape or from Limpopo and didn't have to fraud their way into leadership of COSAS or that type.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, there's some addresses in Soweto. I can even be specific in Muletan. Go what 21. Where some leaders in Limpopo had to lie and say they come there, use that address to assume positions in COSAS.
Okay.
But that's
I think
okay.
you would know best about that. But then, as a product of Soweto, there's certain things that you find so valuable and you love about the township. Then
Sure.
I usually call it the number one cast in the country.
Sure.
So what is it that you love more about it compared to, other townships like Alex, Tembisa? So what do you value the most out of Soweto?
So Soweto, what I love about Soweto more than anything is the fact that it's something I can't divorce. The fact that I was born there.
Yeah.
You see?
Yes.
It's not a Facebook like, a virtual like. It's not a Instagram like.
I feel you. Yeah.
It's a I'm deeply indebted
Rooted,
to it because I am a product of it. And that's where the special relationship comes. But I don't want to mislead the young people of Soweto and anyone else for that matter. Soweto the only reason why Soweto is a popular township versus most is that Soweto was given the spotlight. Soweto was given the spotlight.
Yeah, big time.
In history.
Yeah.
There's many fantastic young people in Northern Cape. But whatever they have to offer the country doesn't get an opportunity. Their voices are not amplified.
Yeah.
So in Soweto, it's easy. That's why, like I said, some people would rather go to Soweto. I was telling...
Even Americans, the first thing they think about when they come here is like...
And it's not that Nelson Mandela was any different. He had to leave the Eastern Cape and come to Soweto for him to be Nelson.
Sure thing.
Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not because Soweto has this mystical energy that is amazing and the universe favors it.
Yeah.
It's not the case. It's just the positioning. And what I just told you, that if you go to Limpopo, you're going to find 3 languages and predominantly 3 cultures. Yes, there might be many dialects to the languages, but there's fundamentally 3 languages. And I mean, I'm just making examples here. And if you go to the Western Cape, there's fundamentally what? Xhosa, English, and Afrikaans.
Yeah, that's it.
And if you go to Free State, it's 2 languages, 3 at best. Do you see what I mean? So I'm also including Afrikaans in the Free State because there's a lot of Afrikaans-speaking people.
Okay.
But if you go to Soweto, all the 11 official languages are there. So Soweto then becomes
the hub.
Becomes a mini South Africa, becomes the back door to South Africa.
Yeah.
So if you can get something right in Soweto, you're guaranteed to get it right automatically everywhere in every province. So Soweto is not entirely special because of something that is tangible that we can say is a selling point. It's, I think, the history and the positioning gave us an advantage for expression more than anything. That's why if some, I mean, I've heard, look at Makati, for example.
Sure.
You know, if the world wasn't as where it is in terms of technology and social media, that talent we could have missed it.
Could have
as
still been in the dust.
Yeah, as an entire generation. And so you must then ask yourself, how many other talents did we miss coming from other provinces?
Hey, especially soccer players. I've seen
soccer
so many.
players. Pomoto Manens had to come from Limpopo, the Bold and the Beautiful, to come and rock at Orlando Pirates.
Yeah.
And at that time, Orlando Pirates and KHAYA Chiefs were very staunch in selecting Soweto-based players.
Yeah.
So you're telling me in the millions of people, we couldn't find one person to replace Pomoto? And the answer is yes, because he was that good.
You know, when you're still on that soccer topic, I loved what you said on the Hustlers Corners.
Sure.
You were like to Spoo, you're like, Spoo, Jabupule didn't need money to become what he is. Didn't need money to share the tipa.
No.
You know,
no.
That touched me a lot. That was so powerful.
Sure.
Like, we usually think that we need money to find ourselves in the best positions, but all you need is you.
Sure.
And like you said, you know, the commitment. You just need to apply yourself.
Sure.
You know. But let's move away from that.
Yeah.
I was just complimenting you for what you said there.
And shout out to Spoo, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the rarest any black community can ever find.
Spuda.
Shout out to More Fire. If you guys have More Fire, please give me some More Fire and get rid of this nonsense here.
Okay, I think they're gonna bring one for you.
Okay, sure.
But shout out to Spuda.
Yeah, sure.
I think you also need to come here and we chop it up. As the president of Soweto Parliament, we are a bit curious about the responsibilities that are carried out by the organization.
Sure.
So I would like to know, what are some of the responsibilities that are assigned to Soweto Parliament?
Look, the greatest responsibilities is accountability. Accountability, making sure that government delivers on services. You know, not on time is one thing.
Yeah.
But it must deliver on services that the people are promised and that the people expect. I mean, we can't tiptoe around clinics that don't function. And our grannies must just wake up at 4, fall a lie and bench, more benching, moving. Every hour they're moving. Eventually at 9 o'clock they get a panado. For everything. Everything go clinic in Tsarona Kokasi is just panado. But you go to center and you observe, there's better even just treatment and attitude. And if you look at these people,
attitude,
you know, they're the same. I mean, they all, the person that's servicing Kosentin is the same person that perhaps services Lukopara. If you look at the doctors that service our hospitals, they go do their time Kopara, then they go to Sentin Mediclinic. These are the same doctors, but the treatment you get is different. It's completely different.
While you stay there, why is it that whenever this just came to my mind now? You know, we as black people, we have a different approach to our own black people.
Sure.
But whenever we have to be in service to other races, we become different.
Yeah, it's centuries of indoctrination. We're indoctrinated to be this way. Look, I spoke about the education system. My mother is a product, and your mother, and if you are below 40, your parent is definitely a product of the apartheid education system. And do you think those people designed a system to improve the way you think? No. So obviously, we then also this thing of undermining other black people, because our parents were conditioned to. Yeah. And when I'm walking with my mother in the mall and there's a black person that they were going to go into the same door at the same time, they'd shove each other. But if there's a white guy, like 4 steps before, like, okay, ma'am, go.
Yeah.
And as a young person, I'm looking at that, it's indoctrination to me too. So it's sad that our reality is such that we are the generation that need to liberate our own parents before even starting with the country. It's the most difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
You must look at when our grandfathers die. Every black parent, every black family fights for the family house.
Yeah.
Every black family. And what happens? It's a generational thing. Then I must remind you that when mama how went so mama and then we continue with that nonsense.
Yeah.
But when you're a special breed, you make sure that you cut the umbilical cord between you and the nonsense, right? Which is what I do more than anything. I listen a lot of the people that are continuing, that are agents of the apartheid system's continuation through the systems. It's systematic racism. It's systematic colonization. But the systems can't implement themselves. Someone needs to implement them. And believe it or not, they use our own people. Majority of the people that you think are political leaders in parliament, they're actually there to continue systematic oppression on our people. And that's why we live in a country where young people continue to suffer. Let's look at AKA. I can bet you all my life his killers will never be found. I can bet you all my life, if AKA's killers are found and there's proven beyond reasonable doubt and confessions are there, I promise that I will not speak a word in public again. That's how confident I am that we live in a dog world, and there's nothing we can do about it until we actually rise as young people and unite and make sure that we kick these people out. I'm
going to come back to that AKA topic later on, but I wanted to speak. You spoke, I think you were leading me there. Young people and the systems. We've got so many young people in this country, in the villages, in the townships, who are basically frustrated because of unemployment, so many things going on in the country. And it later leads to them going into substance abuse, which is something that you fight so dearly. And you get females who end up in this whole thing of unplanned teenage pregnancies and so forth. And then from there, they're going to get the grant money. And it then becomes a cycle. It becomes a system that is running in this country. And, you know, what pains me a lot is seeing people who are graduating from universities. It's like taking people to camp that never takes people out to go work.
100%.
But they just offload. The truck goes. It offloads. So I want to know, like, what do you think about that?
Look, man, I'll be honest with you and everybody else listening. Everything that we are experiencing is this chaos that we are living in now is organized chaos. Not in your life. Politicians will often profit from our people's poverty. Politicians require a community of chaos for politics to thrive. Can you give me any reference in history where politics thrived in a city, community, country of educated people? Let me tell you where first world countries, Geneva, Switzerland, who's the president there? Young people will never answer because that politician will not be popular. Politicians become popular when there is chaos. They rely on the chaos for them to profit. That's why I tell you that politicians will profit from our people's poverty.
I heard you say politicians profit from us being divided. I've heard you.
No, look, that 100%. So the more we are divided is the more they will thrive. Because you're going to find one saying, I'm for colored people, and this is not a shot to Gaten. Gaten, as far as I'm concerned, can just ratene wabakena. Like that's a tatazeli majority. So, but as for example's sakes, you hear some say, from colors, they see that colors don't have leadership on Spizani. And then baro botakiabana riding siabangan. And then bamaburu bate bare. So in that case, there's more competition. And there's less complimenting of each other for the sake of taking the country forward. So we are obsessed with who's talking. Even if I say here's a solution where we all become multimillionaires when the sun rises tomorrow. Not next week.
Tomorrow.
But because Lux is saying I'd rather be poor. So that's how messed up we are as people. So politics again depends on divided nations for them to thrive. Yes, because the true. I'll be honest with you. Majority of politicians are just capitalists dressed in political regalia.
I learned about this word. I didn't know what a regalia is. Until I met Douglas.
Yeah. You see, Douglas is a dedicated.
Sure.
Yeah. So the dedicated politician and probably the most influential of his age now.
Yeah.
So if you want anything that references political success at a young age, just tick boxes.
Sure.
Douglas Wetang, he moves left, or he knows the song. Just copy him, you'll be okay.
Yeah. No, he's a very brilliant young man.
Sure.
We were still there. How do we fight this problem of, how do we fix it?
So look, here's a solution. And this solution is practical. It's not just a solution we must talk about.
Mm-hmm.
The drugs in our communities, it's not by magic that they are there.
True that.
Okay?
They were placed, or somebody brought them.
Yeah. The social ills in our communities is not by mistake that they are there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone in the South African parliament sitting there, from Ntate Cyril Ramaphosa, okay, to you see, I'm starting at the top, to the bottom of the food chain of parliament, Julius Malema and those types.
He's at the bottom.
Definitely. He's not the, I mean, DA is bigger than the EFF. I'm just speaking facts here.
Okay.
So the bottom of the food chain and those types, those guys, look at anybody, where they come from, okay? They're all of them. Doesn't matter which one you look at. Their communities are drug infested, youth unemployment at its highest, schools dilapidating daily, and foreigners, undocumented foreigners rushing in their community at a high scale. Crime unbearable. There's a gogo. From when you started this interview, there's a gogo that's being raped in the township somewhere. No, I'm being honest with you. That's the stat. It's not my opinion. So when you look at all those people in parliament,
that breaks my heart. Yeah.
If these people couldn't do anything to save their families or even their communities, why are we expecting them to save the country and take the country to the next level? So my answer to your question, what do we do in this case? We need to make sure that we invest in the environment, because the environment is always the master of the mindset. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
If you chill with guys that rape and you're like, but I don't rape, it's a matter of time before you start raping.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that your environment is conducive and is ready to uplift you to reach your full potential. Yeah. So the environment is key. If I chill with soccer players on a daily basis and I'm a cricket player, at some point I'll kick a ball.
True.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, and at some point I might just play for Orlando Pirates. But if I chill with cricketers and I've got a dream of playing for Orlando Pirates and I'm the only guy with a soccer ball, no one is going to play with me.
Yeah.
Number one. And I'm going to gravitate towards cricket. Yeah. And I might just make it in the Proteas if I have the talent. So for me, the environment must be fixed. And the environment of a country, we need to do everything simplified. You can't want to go fix the country and be Superman upaleti community, which is what we are saying in parliament. All of them. Black, white, colored, all of them. So we need to have a culture where people understand that in your home and in your community is where you have the responsibility.
Sure.
And once you can get it right, then your people and your work, will graduate you to maybe city leadership or provincial or even national.
Douglas.
Both Douglas. So I'm then saying to you that we need to reevaluate the importance of leadership. It's more important to lead your community than it is to lead parliament. Those people that are getting fed checks to lead parliament, some of their grannies are in deep roof. And when there's no electricity, I can be specific because Nakin just Voyani Pambo, who is the national spokesperson of the EFF, or at least was, because of they had problems, and some of us played chess moves. There was problems in the EFF.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Sure. So because of such things, the point I'm making is his family lives in Diepkloof. When there was no electricity in Diepkloof, his family was affected. Who came to save the day for his very old family members? Ordinary people. Because we don't lead members, we lead society.
Yeah.
So what I hate about politics is that it leads its members, it doesn't lead society. That's why Makomreti Aja, not Batu Baja, because you are leading the members. So for you to Oja, meaning for you to eat, you must have the membership. So where is the membership of the people that I lead in their millions in Soweto? I refuse for people to be members of. By virtue of being in Soweto, whether born or you came from Limpopo, wherever, for the fact that you are in Soweto, I am responsible for your life today, tomorrow, and the development and the security of your life.
Gems.
Imagine if we all operated that way. The country would be a better country.
Wow, man.
But when Steenhuisen speaks in Parliament, he speaks for DA leadership. When Julius speaks, he speaks for EFF a membership. And when the ANC stands up, they speak for prioritizing what their members need and want.
Yeah.
You see? Because that culture is not, you can't blame them. It's a systematic thing.
Yeah. They found it there as well.
Not just that. They inherited the nonsense, I agree, okay?
Yeah.
Because the ANC is very old. It's probably the oldest in the continent. Right now, I'm not sure about the world, but it's the oldest movement / party in the continent. That's massive. So we can't blame anyone today for what they inherited in the ANC. Okay, so but what's important here for I guess the viewers to understand is that a few principles that I operate is that I don't lead certain people. My leadership is it's not exclusive, it's inclusive. Even if you disagree with me, I'm going to lead you, unfortunately. I am that guy.
Yeah.
You're going to need me.
Yeah.
Babang, I'm attending a court case now, okay?
Yeah.
Against a drug dealer in Soweto. So my court cases are weird. A drug dealer opens a court case against me.
I'm coming to that.
Supported by the EFF, but that's okay. So you must also understand that even that drug dealer, when ESCOM cables are stolen, amongst his friends, or do you understand? So I can't be emotional and personalize things because I've got people to lead, including those who disagree with me.
Speaking of drug dealers, you've been asked this question several times, multiple times, whenever I've watched you on a podcast, should it be an interview, and you've always been asked, are you not afraid? And in your response, you would say no. And my question to you is, why do you say, why are you always saying that? Are you protected by higher powers, or do you protect yourself?
Yeah. I'm protected before myself. Look, I'll tell you this, ne? If they send anybody, I didn't say as long as you're alive, if they send you to come and perhaps kill me, okay, you must do your homework first, because a few of those who were sent before you, they are sitting cold in the earth. Cold. In other words, that they're 6 feet under and they've got the soil, very cold soil on their chest.
I understood that.
So you must do your homework properly, because there's a reason why I'm alive now and many people aren't. Do your homework, make sure. So in a nutshell, I don't have fear because of my competence.
Just one. You felt how the room went cold when you say that.
Yeah, I can get the
like it just went cold. Like it kind of like illustrates like the words that you carry. Like you mean what you say.
No, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. So the competence that I have, not the confidence, the competence. Even if you wake me up at 3 a.m. and you say that there's a moving target, any gun of it, throw that gun or throw the whatever weapon of choice you have at that point. I'll maximize the opportunity and hit the target for you. So I understand my strengths. So that's why I am not worried about whoever gets sent to me.
You went for military training?
You see, if I expose all my training, it becomes a problem, because then you're giving them better ammunition against you. They can't move around. We can go to the sky. I'll outfly them. We can be on the ground. I'll outsmart them. We can be underground. I'll deal with them. Me, I don't have a problem. But if you go back to a little bit, to a small part of your question, you asked if there's a higher power that's protecting me. I'm being protected by Badimo ba Africa. That means ancestors, not only mine. And let me tell you why. Koka se dlala chicken. What I'm about to say, because we talk about dlala chicken, that means waropa. That means you've got too much favor. That means you've got too much skill. That means like
this is kasilingo.
Yeah, this is kasilingo. So
yeah,
I'll check in when it comes to that, because a lot of people don't subscribe to their ancestors. And ancestors, naturally, they're not in the physical. So they seek a very weird ways of communicating with the physical.
Yeah.
And if you've decided that you're going to do this religion thing that was imposed on you only, and you leave your ancestors out, then they have no choice but to come and subscribe themselves to some of us who appreciate them.
Yeah.
And you find me carrying weight and carrying the favor of my ancestors and yours.
Yeah.
And when I come orumwe, you were sent to come and do funny things around me, but you don't understand that I've got the favor of your ancestors. So what do you think you're going to do when it's Lux versus his ancestors and yours?
Bomb.
So
Nhlanhla Lux is politically informed. That's what I've managed to grasp.
Yes.
But Nhlanhla Lux is not politically affiliated.
Oh, yes.
So what then separates Nhlanhla Lux from politics?
The action. Nhlanhla Lux takes action. Politicians talk too much.
Smomo game.
Smomo game. When I sit with the guys, we speak once. Guys, what's the problem? We define the problem.
Yeah.
What's the proposed best solution for this defined problem? The proposed best solution is this.
Yeah.
What's the action plan to achieve the solution? 1, 2, 3. Let's all take action. This is my responsibility in the action. This is yours. This is yours. We take action. Yafel.
Outside politics, you're a leader, outside politics.
Sure.
But then you have the courage and, should I say, the balls to challenge people like Julius Malema, who is politically affiliated.
Yeah.
He's into politics. Where do you get the strength and why do you feel like it's important to challenge people like that?
You see, I have a problem with that question when I hear it. That where do I get the balls to challenge politicians like Julius Malema? Who said they are as strong as what they sold to you? That's marketing. You've never tested the product. You've never. Julius is weaker than you all think. He's actually sick. He's got a medical condition. That's why he's frail and his weight goes up and down. So what's there not to be honest? I don't challenge people based on personalized things. And this is probably the first time in any podcast you hear me speak of his medical condition.
I was shocked as well.
Yeah, wakula Julius, grand. Go blela 99, grand. So to tell an old man, because he's now old, he used to be young, he mustn't fool anyone. And with his medical condition, it made the knees even worse. So he's probably 65 in his body age. So I'm then saying, what's wrong with being honest to say that you are lying and you are misleading people and you are a capitalist and you are not? I'm being honest. If my honesty is received in a negative way and you think that you're going to take that energy and bring it back with bullets, oh, you must be ready. I'm not the 70-year-old that Julius disrespects in parliament. Like I say, Julius is a king of disrespect culture in South Africa. When you see young kids disrespecting their parents, their teachers, they saw it from Julius in their majority. And because the media would play back Julius's tapes calling the president number one office, whether you agree with him or not, you don't call him Ranko, you don't call the former president big head. That shows your intelligence is that of a 7-year-old. Because the last time I heard anyone saying, hey, I was in grade 1. And it was funny. But I don't understand in an entire country's parliament where serious issues must be discussed and Bokoko are waiting outside in different communities and waiting for the solution of your leadership. And all you can do in front of the whole world is to say Rango and make jokes. We're not here for jokes, damn it. If you don't know what to do in that parliament, vacate, exit. Exit the parliament. We've got amazing young leaders. I'd like to see younger leaders in this country, okay? One, we spoke about Douglas, obviously. Yeah. If it was up to me, Douglas must be in that parliament because biologically and naturally, even if you study the animal kingdom, your brilliance peaks at a certain age. And then once you start going through the decline of nature,
Yeah.
then you can only be all talk. Do you think that a 100-year-old lion will go hunting?
No.
The young ones hunt for it and bring it back and bring back some meat and wait for it to naturally die. But in parliament, they all think they can hunt it. What can they hunt those people? Absolutely nothing. That's why the country is drug infested, because the parliament has useless people. Do you think that a Douglas would send anyone to go fight drug dealers? He's there. He's there. So when I say that I'm not interested in politics, I am not, but I still have the responsibility to make sure that I participate in the development of this country. If there's a young person who actually subscribes to politics, my responsibility is to make sure that I protect that young person, because I understand the game is so filthy that young person might not be Lux, might not have the competence and the courage and the network necessary to move around and defend himself from R5 attacks. Because when you're looking at me like this, in the last 12 months, I've been shot at with AK-47 and R5s, but I'm here doing the interview. And where are they? Different story. Do you see what I mean? So no, I'm not expecting every young person to be like me.
Yeah.
That's why I must give myself towards the development of this country. If people like Boss Douglas and many people, young people in the ANC and young people in the DA and IFP, etc., if they really want to take over this country, let them take over this country and deploy us, some of us who are not interested in singing Oliver Tambo the whole day, because I don't want to sing the whole day.
You want to work.
I want to work.
Yeah.
So you must deploy us.
Yeah.
So they must command us with Douglas and tell us that, listen, we've come together as young people, regardless of politics, and we are saying that we are moving these old people out of parliament. We are occupying that parliament, and Lux, we need you.
Yeah.
And your specific role is 1, 2, 3. My job will be done. If the country fails, it's because they will have failed us.
You spoke about, young people becoming leaders. I just want to send a shout out to Penuel. I feel like he's brilliant.
Yeah. Pen is brilliant. He's actually my friend.
Yeah, he's
and
open-minded.
I'm going to tell him on this podcast that I'm tired of him just talking. Some action is now needed. We can't just pick up a phone because we've got data. Penuel is my nigga, like for sure. I'm telling you now. If Penuel's mom gets sick, I'll know about it. That's how much he's my guy.
Yeah.
But you can't just talk. We can't. Talk is cheap. Otherwise, there's no difference between him and Ntate Kwere Mantash.
Yeah.
You can't just talk. But Ntate Kwere nelidi pozata maobani.
Yeah.
Because yesterday they didn't talk. Kwere didn't talk yesterday. Ntate Cyril Ramaphosa didn't talk yesterday. Okay? I can name all of them. They were not about this. They were taking serious action. That's why some of them were in Commander's Morning. Our best of the best. More fire.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I have one as well?
now you're going to hear poems.
Nah.
Yeah, now you're going to hear serious poems.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Tickle. Yeah, I have a fit. Yeah. So what I'm saying is actually not opinionated. It's not my opinion. It's factual. Majority of the old people that are occupying our parliament now, when they were our age, don't undermine what they did for this country.
Yeah.
But their time has passed. Pela no ukakena go parliament bo o etsa ngwena. Vala, mpa mafela, vala. Ha mo sharp. Botako aya ka tshwara ke stroke. They're that old. They are that old. So they are fragile. It's our responsibility to take care of them. Ha batho ba bagolo ba tsofala, e ba bana.
Yeah.
It's good for the child.
Yeah.
But in that moment, the child recognizes you as an enemy. Like, what are you doing to me? It's traumatic.
Sure.
You could have
Porridge.
Yeah. Porridge, right? Soft porridge.
Yeah.
So this is how we grew up in our communities. So your granny would lock both your hands, make you face up, and somehow find a way of opening your mouth, take that porridge, and go brrr, all of it.
Oh, all of it.
Obviously, and you gag. You hate your granny in that moment.
Yeah.
But it's just because of the attitude and the energy, you realize this is out of love. So what am I getting at? We need to take responsibility and move those old people outside parliament. They'll hate us temporarily, but they'll know it's out of love. And then we put them in homes, those who don't have families. And some of them must come, we'll host them. But we need young people to occupy the parliament. There's no excuse. And this is the time. There's no other time for that.
On Penuel's show, I think you said some. I'm just gonna paraphrase,
Sure.
not exact words. Uh, you said there's no way Julius doesn't know me. Julius Malema. He doesn't know me because his wife but takes a bath with Lux. So I want to know, was this a figure of speech, or is it? Do you know his wife like that? I just want to understand what did you actually mean by that?
So there is, you see, if you have a leader in politics
Yeah.
that is claiming to be a leader of society, already it's an indicator that Julius is ignorant.
Mm.
There's no way that Julius can know the youngest person, the youngest, most influential person, according to statistics, not according to me. That means you are actually proving Nhlanhla Lux correct, that you are the leader of the EFF, not of society. So if Julius, we take his word for it, then he's proven his ignorance by not knowing Nhlanhla Lux. But that's politics. They just talk and play games and semantics and all that. But let's go back to his wife. Julius's wife loves me. Julius's wife loves me. Get a camera behind it.
You know, this is
get a
gonna
mic.
get clipped, right?
Yeah, get a mic. Go interview Julius's wife. Just say Nhlanhla Lux. She might not say a word, but you'll see her face change.
This man is dropping.
You don't drop this thing until you get to 20K. But look, it's nothing wrong. It's nothing wrong. If I was Julius's wife, I'd also love Nhlanhla Lux. Because Nhlanhla Lux is the person that she fell in love with in terms of character when she met Julius, and then only understood later that Julius is more of an act than the real deal. So women do that. They gravitate towards best things and quality. Women love quality.
Yeah.
So Julius's wife loves me. Like that I can say and repeat on any platform, no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I say she Tlapaka Lux, ask her. Maybe let's ask her these questions. Yeah.
Okay. let's move on to the electricity crisis, load shedding, and apparently they are preparing us for stages beyond stage 8. And we just recently lost a CEO. Douglas speaks so much about this, and he actually never liked the CEO. So, what is your take on the way the electricity is going about in this country?
So I'm extremely happy with the undeniable incompetence that our people are experiencing. It gives people like myself, it gives people like Bonabo Douglas an opportunity to present themselves, because these politicians are decampaigning themselves. You don't need to go out there and decampaign them for your own gain. People are desperate for a big breath of fresh air. People are tired of all these politicians. The time we can't do the same thing over and over again and expect a different. Einstein tells you that definition is a definition for insanity.
Yeah.
So people will not be gullible because you are now giving them the same T-shirt with a different face. Perhaps if you're in the EFF, the same T-shirt with the same face.
Yeah.
And say that things will change.
Yeah.
Things will never change. Only their lives will change. That's why their kids go to private schools and yours don't. Only their lives will change, okay? They're capitalists dressed in political regalia, full stop. Full stop. I was speaking to young people who were asking me, why don't you move with blue lights? Because they all do. And when we think about it, you're the one that needs it more than them. Because you're the ones that fight with drug dealers and we see it with our own eyes. Why do they need? Because they understand what they're doing is thuggery and criminal at the highest level, because it's a matter of time before you know it and you start going after them. So they're protecting themselves because they know they're criminals.
Things that the media will not tell you about Lux.
Yeah.
I'm putting that to you as a
Yeah,
question.
I can give you many. So the one that that people must know is that things that the media will not tell you is that I'm not actually xenophobic. You've never, ever, ever heard me utter the words that I'm xenophobic. I fought and led a good fight that says that our country's laws must be respected and therefore we can't tolerate undocumented foreigners.
Yeah.
If that is being xenophobic, then abalo shwa, hasatan, kaofela bona. So the media was then paid PR, public relations,
Yes.
for Nhlanhla Lux to be labeled xenophobic. And at the time when I was labeled xenophobic in my own country, in Central and North Africa, there were newspaper headline, front page. When the news start, first thing that you look at is Nhlanhla Lux. But they were having a different message. They were saying the most progressive young person in Africa. Why? Because it's a time when I went north and went to various countries, Ethiopia being one of them, countries that were war-stricken in Africa. I went to go sign an indemnity and offer myself and say that I want to fight to make sure that we protect Africa.
Yeah.
And Ethiopia being the only country in this continent that was never colonized, I thought it's important that I go there and fight against the rebels that were sponsored by countries outside Africa to destabilize Ethiopia. Because some of us understand what's going on. When all of you are telling me about Russia and Ukraine, Africans obsessed with the Russia-Ukraine war don't know that there are countries in Africa that have been having war for 50 years, hundreds of years, non-stop.
Yeah.
But the media will focus on Ukraine. The media will focus on false narrative and lie about Nhlanhla Lux and not speak the truth about Nhlanhla Lux.
Yeah.
But who's behind the media? Who's behind the media?
I don't want to mention the companies.
Sure.
Yeah. You spoke about Nhlanhla Lux Foundation on the Hustlers Corner.
Yeah, sure.
What are you going to be doing there? Because I think you said it's not yet.
No, it's actually running.
Is it?
It's running.
Okay.
The foundation is running.
It was already
Because let me tell you why I actually set up a foundation. I'm not going to wait until I reach Mandela's age to set up a foundation.
Okay.
I think foundation, if you look at Mandela and shout out to him, I'm not saying this in coming from a bad place. Ne?
Yeah.
Or a Peter Mokaba Foundation.
Yeah.
Do you know that if you leave your own legacy and name for other people to present to the world, Nelson Mandela Foundation, Nelson Mandela has never worked there. O sebeditse ninko. Ka neng ke kolo fela se tla re full beat. Peter Mokaba we kids.
Yeah.
Even if we have a Steve Biko Foundation,
Sure.
it's other people who are trying to express what Steve would possibly articulated around certain issues, but it's not Steve. So you're not leaving case studies for people to understand the direction of your legacy. So I opened the foundation early, understanding that I need to be working physically for the foundation.
Yeah.
So that even if there's a problem of people not understanding a direction in the next 400 years when I'm gone, they can reference videos because we live in the era of internet.
Sure.
And say, but you see where Lux was. It's not people saying Lux had took this position on Cyril Ramaphosa.
Yeah.
Play the video. Don't lie to the kids of the time.
Yeah.
Play the video and this is Lux's position. But fundamentally what the foundation does, we focus on state security.
Okay.
So we mobilize ourselves in our competent selves and we go guard the borders. We assist in guarding the borders.
Okay.
And then we assist in raiding schools, getting rid of drugs and gangsterism and weapons in our schools.
Because you talk about if we find you with the weapon as a student, we arrest you.
Mamela, we treat you as a criminal because you're just a criminal dressed in school uniform. But with the strong relationship we have with Bokosas, the last thing we want to do to a black child is give him a criminal record.
Yes.
Because we'll be entertaining the system that are set out to be.
Yeah.
You know? So we correct their behavior. We correct their behavior.
Yeah.
And more than often, parents call. I don't know what you did to this kid, but this kid is actually amazing. So I don't care for who has to say what on Twitter or on social media.
Yeah.
I care for real life. Twitter is virtual. It's not real.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So if there's no electricity in Zanin right now,
Yeah.
and there's no water in Zanin, there's nothing you can do
Shout
on
out to
Twitter.
Zanin.
Yeah. If there's nothing you can do on Twitter to bring that water back, you must be there with the real people and face the real problem and grab the bull by its horns.
Yeah. What would you do different if you were given the position of presidency?
Oh, number one, the police.
Yeah.
Number one, they'd move from police service. And a lot of people don't even know this.
Yeah.
Our country used to have a police force not police service.
Service, yeah.
Service is softer. It's like a call center. It's like, hi, what can I do for you?
Yeah.
So I would definitely bring back a police force.
Yeah.
Take it from service back to force. I would definitely go into all corners of the country.
Yeah.
And make sure that even those who were isolated because the current political climate did not have a platform for them to express themselves, I'd go get the Indians, I'd go get the Afrikaans people,
Sure.
I'd go get the white, the colored people, I'd go get the black people, and out of them, seek competence out of them, get the black engineers, the Afrikaans engineers, and ask them, how did the country function? Because at some point, the country was competing with first world countries. Okay? The reason why our country is going down is because we are not inclusive, we're exclusive. So I'd be extremely inclusive. And then the most important one, I change the education system and make it aligned to our economy. Okay?
Yeah,
so
because they like this.
They miles apart. I'd make sure that I've got a graduate that can put food on the table today.
Sure.
I'd make sure that my graduates in South Africa can compete with anyone coming from anywhere in the world for our economy.
Yeah.
Because right now, when you pass matric, we all go to street corners. All we have is theory. There's nothing you can do. Right? Do you know how many photos were taken since this interview started in South Africa? More than 1 million. See, in South Africa. Why isn't photography a subject? Because it's part of the economy of the day.
Yeah, and that's where we're heading right now.
Yeah. So I would extremely change the education system so that the future South African is in proper par with the economy.
Yeah.
And I would make sure that the environment doesn't allow anyone from outside to be superior in terms of leading our economy.
Yeah.
I'd make sure that I produce competent people for our own economy.
Do you own a firearm?
Mining, I own many firearms, not a firearm. I own all types of firearms. So mining, agriculture would be subjects that you get taught in primary school, in high school, and so forth. Okay?
Yeah.
And I'd also bring back the death penalty with immediate effect.
Is this in line with rape?
Yeah. Look, I'd bring back the death penalty and I'd make sure that anything that's to do with corruption, because corruption is not defined properly, guys.
Yeah.
When you steal from when you're part of corruption in government, you are stealing from the ordinary people. You are the reason why we don't have enough ambulances that can go save a gogo that's suffering from a heart attack. You are the reason why the state is incompetent. So therefore, if you participate in corruption, you are directly and indirectly overthrowing the state. You are stealing from the people.
Yeah.
So for me, there's no excuse of how we must treat such a person. Death penalty. So even if you are saying to a traffic police officer that here 50 rand, I forgot my license at home, that police officer must know that I might just be killed for taking this money.
Yeah.
The country straight. And let me tell you, crime, the punishment for crime in South Africa is too low. The people committing crimes, whether they are South African or they foreigners, and whether they are documented or undocumented foreigners, they will tell you that in my country, even the police officer is wrong, I look the other way. I don't even look at him in the eyes and say, yes, sir, sir, as long as we can just finish. But in this country, in full uniform, our police officers, Google it. Just say South African police officer being slapped, more than 100 videos pop up. And majority of those people committing those crimes are foreigners.
And undermines the law.
Yeah. Let's not go far. In Lesotho, in Botswana, the police don't carry guns. Amen.
Yeah.
I read debate. But most South Africa, this service nonsense of police. So that would be the change that I would bring immediately.
Yeah.
If I was to ever assume the number one office of this country.
As a fan of the Super Mega, aka.
Yeah, sure.
And looking at how he passed on, I'd mention him, my R5, DJ Somebody.
Great. City Lights.
Yeah, like
list is long.
They went out in a brutal way.
Sure.
What is it that we can do, or how do we make sure that we prevent this cancer or this pandemic of gun violence?
Simple. Get rid of the old people in leadership. Let me tell you why. It might sound like it's not related. Be practical. Think of the person that called the shot for AKA to die. Is it a young person or old person? The person that's covering the tracks right now, is it a young person or old person? The person that called the shot for Nhlanhla Lux to be arrested after his interview with KHAYA FM by 36 armed police officers in rifles for apparently stealing 300 rands from a drug dealer. Who do you think called that shot? An old person or a young person? The problem here is old people. Move them. The young people will take this country to the next level, no problem. The problem is not what you think the problem is. The problem is that you've defined the problem wrong. The problem is old people. Trust and believe. Move them. You'll see. Even in your family, I don't know your family. Your family politics right now is because of old people.
Yeah.
You and your cousins are okay until you get older. And then you start fighting for things that you know you could have spoken about easy.
Yeah.
So there's this magic about young people that they can use their brains better, but it's nature. Even like I said, the animal kingdom also suggested a younger lion is faster, hunts better. The other one might have the experience, but the experience is not enough. If you have experience in your head, but your body can't take you to where you need to go in the time you need to move, you could have stayed.
I heard you talking about you removed. Is it your grandfather's tombstone?
Tombstone.
One man.
Ke shapile ka 10 pounds hammer. Why it's about 10 pounds hammer? Na phela ke tatazele na where I come from. My own family. When this guy's around, we do things properly or we don't do them at all. So there are problems in the family at the top again, old people. Tomorrow we wake up, there's a faction of the family that went in and put in a tombstone for a man that led in the struggle of this country. They didn't invite his own church. They didn't invite his own people. They didn't invite his friends or family from Kobo Matatiele in the Eastern Cape and where he comes from and so forth. So they did it for themselves because they think that it's a title thing. They think it's life is about them. Kalo shapa 10 pounds in heavy blind. When you are ready to be inclusive in what you are trying to do, invite everyone. Invite us chaba sitlo bona or ntate wa bona o robetse kae jwang. I don't even need to participate, by the way. I don't need to be there. But make sure le o leng hore ha sebetse maro khona reka tamati a etse salad. A itlise ko unveiling. A participate somehow. Ska tlo bang steering ka lefula motho man. So I'm that guy. So that's why lampona strating. I'm still that guy. What I am in my family is what I am in my community. What I am in my community is what I am in my city, is what I am in my province, and is what I am in my country. And when I go out in Africa and help in the wars and it's and you can simplify it back. It's what it is exactly this in his own country, in his own family, in his own city, in his own home.
Isn't Nhlanhla Lux planning on getting married anytime soon?
Yo, na akbatlo hlupha bana ba batho jo. But akinyala ke step. Yeah, I'm African. Yeah.
Double or four?
Whatever. So let me help you understand what's Stepu.
I think you relate well with Penuel on that.
Yeah. So Stepu is not about your sexual drive. Okay. It's about the competence you need from female partners to help you take the family forward. So if I'm in a lot of business, a lot of black business. Because we'd never set up the right infrastructure for it to move forward. Right? The garage tsa ko kasi ya Soweto di kwetsu kaofela. Ha o sheba di shop tsa bo mang di kwetsu kaofela. But if you understand that you obviously need kids to continue legacies.
Sure thing.
But if you choose the wrong women for these as mothers for these kids, you're in trouble. So if you have one that is an accountant and you have one that is amazing at this and at that, and you know that those are the basic fundamentals for your legacy to continue, that's what you do. So the number of women I'm talking African culture. So anybody that's listening here that wants to reason Western, you must just get on a flight and go to America and speak nonsense. But here we are in Africa doing this interview. So polygamy in Africa has been misguided And again, by who? The media and people who are not African.
Yeah.
So at least we have platforms now where we can speak our own stories and tell our own stories and our own narratives. So the bigger you grow in terms of potential is not only potential, because some people will say, I've got a potential of being a billionaire, therefore I need to take 100 wives. So look at the actual, calculate the actual, and with the actual, look at your growth pattern. In the last 10 years, my growth pattern was, and I've grown this much.
Yeah.
And if anything happens to me with what I have now, what's going to happen to all those things? You see?
As a good-looking guy, I think after this interview, you're gonna get a flood of ladies saying, I'm the right candidate to be in the Soweto.
Yeah, but they'll be inboxing the wrong person. They must inbox my partner or my partners, or they must inbox. Yeah, because tempo stama tlamelo thole permission ya bomme ba bang.
Yeah.
Sing yaka.
Oh.
Asenakiliwan.
Sure.
Yeah. So I think those African cultures, as much as we can laugh about it and joke about it, it's important to also reflect on what we used to do as Africans pre-colonization, before the influence of the West and the white people and colonizers, etc. What did we actually do? Because Africa was at its prime during the times of Mansa Musa, the richest person to ever walk the earth, and there's no one who will probably ever match him, given how the world is moving.
Yeah.
He was African proper. So what were the secrets of Africa? What were the basic fundamentals of family values, of community values, of that worked for us so well, and we want to inherit or bring back into today so that tomorrow can be better?
Yeah.
And certainly I can tell you for free that what we were taught to be family and a marriage, according to the Western definition of what a marriage is, that's why we realize at the white wedding. Do you know that 9 out of 10 times, all the weddings I've been to, those people are divorced right now?
Yeah.
Right now. But why did I'm not saying 500 years ago, I'm saying our own grandparents that we saw with our own eyes. Why never sa nyale hangata ngata? Why never sa divorce? They had values that we did not take down with us, guys. Okay.
Although I'm not pro. Polygamy.
No, you don't have to be.
Yeah,
nothing is
but I
forced
agree
on
with
anyone.
that. Yeah, I agree with that.
So we must look at what our ancestors did, because they were extremely intelligent people. We were just failed by a certain few who allowed colonization to happen, and therefore then they spiral out of control for us to be here. But coming this way, you can go to Ethiopia. Like I said, the only country in the African continent that was never colonized. What did the people do there to fight the forces that came? And what did they do? You need to learn that history and understand it so that you can take some of those value systems and implement them.
Sure.
99%, and this is not a joke, guys. 99%, this is my stat, okay? But I'm telling you, 99% of black family homes are broken.
Right. Yeah.
Black kids come from broken family homes.
Yeah.
I've been poisoned by my mother's sister. Why? Because of is that a reason to kill a damn child? Do you understand? So some of my business was sabotaged by my own family. Your enemy is the closest. That I can tell you for free. But what I then realized is that the universe, Lebadimu, were preparing me for what I'm going through in the world right now, using my own family. So they sharpened me. I'm probably double-edged sword in went to.
Yeah.
That's why I'm papela kapilo ta shapa pavement to robala because of ke goletse ntweng. Like ska papela ke goletse ntweng engwe serious.
Yeah.
At the same time, what a blessing, because lanter goletse ntweng ho lwanela last plate ha o sa ja ka nako ka seje re baya too much kontlu. Do you know what it means to live in a 2-bedroom house with 21 people? That's where I come from, Chi. So how saja or o le late o sa o tla tlhatswa dikotlolo tsa dijo tso sa di jang. Oh, wena wa dlala. So people don't really understand where we come from. You see, but it's okay as long as they understand that they won't stop us where we are going, because where we come from really.
Yeah.
Moriang zama li hipo khale di zama hipo. Yama polisa hipo. Kila ga yone. Kila wona hipo chifta ba sa tsebi chiftisa ke mang.
Yeah.
Aba botse ba tla.
Man, before the cameras go off because of battery, first of all, let me say this is definitely going to be the best episode that we have ever done on this platform. And I'm so inspired. I cannot even believe that. It's so surreal that I'm actually even sitting next to you.
Appreciate you so much, man. Thank you.
Man, it means so much to me, and not only to me only, but the people who have believed in this platform from the beginning. And I believe they're gonna learn so much from you. And in closing, I want you, because I believe that there's so much that you still have to offer, to the people of this country. And as the potential president, what message would you leave with young people out there?
To all the young people in South Africa, my message is simple. Do not inherit the hate from those who come before us. Not only racially, but even in our families. Don't inherit the hate, even if it comes from your mother, that mamkhol mamang waloya skaita ingi. Let them die with that division and the hate. Find reasons to come together, find reasons to love, and find reasons to lead even those who disagree with you. Because the world needs leadership that is not biased, that is transparent, that can take our people forward. So the young person that's listening right now must understand that their gift of life is not selfish, just selfish for them. It's for all of us to contribute from it. And they must find why they're actually alive and give it to the world so that the world can continue. The law of relativity suggests that you're not here for yourself alone. So you must understand those type of things. So find time and be with yourself in this mad world where there's too much noise. If you're alone, you think you're alone, but you are actually with millions of people on Instagram. You are not alone. So find time to be alone, connect with yourself, and appreciate the simple things like the sun rising, the sun setting, and plan your life. And lastly, make sure that you are the architect of your own environment, because that's where your brilliance is going to come out to play. Your brilliance, the inner you that is brilliant, will never come out and play if the environment does not allow it to do so. So don't be scared to look at your mother, to look at your brother, to look at your friend, your cousins, or your current girlfriend, or your current boyfriend, and say that I've been operating emotionally, but I now understand who I am. And you do not suit. You can't be part of the environment because you're a drug addict.
Yeah.
I can't allow you to be part of my environment. And if you give me the space or give me the blessings to move away from you and create an environment that can complement my mindset, I might come back and save you. But the longer I chill with you, it's just me being a spectator to your slow death. So kuponchinde, kifai. So to young people, make sure your environment complements your mindset. Whatever you want for yourself, create the environment for it. And that's it. Saul Kerzner, Google Saul Kerzner. Young people don't know Saul Kerzner. Saul Kerzner did exactly that. He had to leave his family and go be Saul Kerzner and come back and bring his family into the biggest of wealth of all time. So I can tell you many other people that did that.
Yeah.
So the environment.
I'm about to become one as well.
The environment.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh man, I'm so inspired.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you very
so
much.
Sure.
Brother.
Thank you so much.
Money.
Commander Money.
Yeah.
I don't even want to end it. Just cut the camera.
Mutuwalangi na fafya sinkarabela Jesu Mara babango bayabona mitolo yahu Babango barabeli Mara bapila udifa Jesu Mara babango bayabona mitolo yahu Bango bare bankesi je Mara gi believe Jesu Mara babango bayabona mitolo yahu Linandiye mutu batu bambone Jesu Mara babango bayabona mitolo yahu Mutuwalangi na fafya sinkarabela Jesu Mara babango bayabona mitolo yahu Babango barabeli Mara bapila udifa Jesu